Hello everyone, welcome to day 4 of GirlScript Gujarat Summit. I am Heli Kapadia, Regional Head of GirlScript Gujarat. So today we are going to talk about React and State Management, and for that we have our speaker Miss Anushka Beri, who is working as a front-end developer at Versal Private Limited. I would like to welcome Anushka here. Hi Anushka,
Hi, Lily. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Quite fine. I hope everyone is well. So, I'll be able to see their comments, right? Yeah. ठीक है.
Yes.
So, should we wait like for 2 minutes if more people are joining? Then we can start at 35.
Wait
Okay?
for 2 minutes and then we'll start.
हाँ ठीक है. तो I'll wait for 2 minutes. Okay. ठीक है. I'll just turn off my camera and mic until then. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Hello everyone, good evening. So I think we can start now. People are joining in. Anushka,
हाँ या ओके सो let's just adjusting a little bit ठीक है तो what do we okay I'll just share my screen.
yes,
By the way, hi everyone who is saying hello and good evening. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen right now. Just confirm if you guys are able to see my screen. Okay.
yes,
Okay, is it? I think it's visible, right?
yes, it's visible.
Okay, cool. Okay, wait. Okay. So you guys are able to see the presentation, right?
Guys,
So
please comment yes or no in comment section.
okay, so I am like not able to see the comment section. If
There hasn't been any comment yet.
okay, cool. ठीक है. So I'm like starting. Okay.
Yeah,
I just turn off my camera so you guys can like look at it. Okay, so topic for today is introduction to React and state management. And so let's start. Just a second. हाँ ठीक है. Sorry guys. Okay. So what is React actually? React is an open source JavaScript library that is used for building user interfaces. Okay, so just focus on the word library for now. And React also allows us to create reusable UI components. Now, what do we mean by reusable UI components? Like, suppose we have a card which we have to repeatedly use in some places for a website. So, what we can do is we can make one component for it and we can just import in all the files in which we have to use that. Okay. So, React was first created by Jordan Walke, a software engineer who was working for Facebook. And so, React helps us manage like huge applications very easily. So it allows developers to create large web applications that can change data without reloading the page. Okay, so in React, whenever you click somewhere or whenever an event is called, the page doesn't reload again and again. Okay, so the main purpose of React is to be fast, scalable, and simple. Okay, so we have heard that Angular is a framework and React is a library. So there is a difference between those two. So what happens in a library? It is like, first, what is a framework? Okay, so framework can be like everything you use in application development. Like framework contains everything A to Z. Okay, so in a library, it is like you can say a collection of object functions or methods, and your applications links against it, you can say. Okay, so in a library we have quite a lot of limitations. So what happens in React is like we have extensions which we can import through npm, which is node package manager. Like their basic you can say, yeah, framework of React does not offer that many of like functionalities, but there are libraries for everything, so it's quite flexible. And same similarly for like you can for Angular, since it's a framework, right? So everything is in Angular already. Okay, just wait a second, I think you guys might be having some listening to some disturbances. Just wait a second, give me just 5 minutes, I'll just see to something. Okay. Okay, so I am here again. Yeah. Hello. Sorry, I had to change my seat type. There was quite a lot of disturbance over there. Okay. So let's go through some features of React. So they React has many features, like many, but I'll be, since it's just I only have a few times, so I'll just be introducing the main things. So we have JSX, and then we have one-way data binding, and then we have virtual DOM. Virtual DOM is quite important for you guys to understand. Okay. So see what is JSX. So instead, in React, instead of using like regular JavaScript, so React offers us to use JSX. It's a simple JavaScript that allows HTML coding and uses the HTML tags only. Okay. So see this. An element. This is an element which is written with JSX, and this is without JSX. Just see the difference in the syntax. So we are taking an element and we say react.create element in h1 tag, and it does not use JSX. But when we say h1 and JSX, so this is really, simple when you use JSX. Okay. So then we have single way data flow. So what happens in one way data binding? See this is the difference. So here we have a template, we have a model, and then we merge and then a view is made. So in two-way data binding, first template, then view, then we connect to the model, then it again connects to the view. So the communication is far more better in one-way data binding. So read this. React's one-way data binding keeps everything modular and fast. Okay. So a unidirectional one-way data flow means that when a developer designs a React app, they often nest child components. So we have one parent component, then it has child components. Okay. So they often nest child components within the parent component. So child components are inside the parent component, and when they are represented in a tree-like structure. So it's easy for traversing. So this way, a developer knows where and when an error occurs, giving them a better control of the whole web application. So when we represent a DOM tree or virtual DOM tree, so that is a tree-like structure. We have nodes, which are leaves, and we have root element, and then the whole nodes and children. Okay, so that really helps in traversing, or you can say even debugging also. Then there is virtual DOM. So with, what is the difference between real DOM and virtual DOM? So whenever suppose we have a UL tag, so I hope like everyone who is listening are like aware of some basic HTML. So UL is an unordered list tag, and we have like three items in li tags inside it. So whenever one li element or one list item is changed in real DOM, the whole DOM changes again and again. So this causes a lot of mess, and it takes a lot of time also. So React works on virtual DOM. React keeps a lightweight representation of the real DOM in the memory, means a copy of real DOM, and that is known as the virtual DOM. So copy of real DOM is kept with React, and that is called the virtual DOM or the VDOM. Manipulating real DOM is much slower than manipulating VDOM because nothing gets drawn on the screen. So in virtual DOM, whenever a component is changed, only that component is re-rendered and the child components of it. You can see in this example, if this component changes and same with this also changes. So when it is re-rendered, all the changes are shown, or only these components are rendered again. The whole structure does not renders again and again. Renders means reloads, you can say, or like displays. Render means displays. Okay. So when the state of an object changes, virtual DOM changes only that object in the real DOM instead of updating the whole, all the objects, right? So keep this in mind that when the state of an object changes, virtual DOM changes only that object in the real DOM, which is actually needed to change, like which is actually changed by the user, you can say. So why we actually use React and why we go for React? Because it's simple, and of course it's easy to learn since it's JavaScript and HTML, and it follows native approach. Native approach means like we have React Native also, and we have one language for the same. Then we have data binding and performance and debugging. So what see in data binding we have talked about like one way data binding, and performances you can use like many libraries, and also there is Babel, which converts JavaScript to be readable by the browser. Okay, and then for debugging के लिए we also have an extension for debugging, which is in the browser. So it's really easy to find like where the bug lies or where the errors are occurring. So this is really easy. So now we learn about how React components are working. So suppose this is the page you guys are having. Okay. So this is a blog post listing page where blogs are viewed. So one blog post is there, one blog post is here, then a blog post with image preview, then about, then links. So you can see these are containers, right? One container, then second, then third, then inside the second one we have three, inside the first one we have three, inside the second one we have two. So what are these? These are components. Like this is the parent component, then these two are the further child components. Then first one has three child components and second one is having like two child components. So this is the way how React works, by components. So if was a blog post here and also a blog post here, so what we'll do is we can make one blog post component and we can call it or import it again and again. Okay. So this is really easy. That this makes our code really compact. So there are two ways to define a component. This is the functional way, and this is a class component. So a function component is represented. This is the arrow function. So this is an ES6 syntax. I hope you guys are aware of it. And if not, you guys can search. This is really easy. So we take a constant blog post excerpt, we convert it into a function, and the function returns this an h1 in title, description in p tag. Okay. So same way in a class component, we write class blog post extends component or extends React dot component. It's the same. Then render return. So what is the difference actually? So in function component, what happens is कि function component में you cannot use state or props. So I'll tell you guys about state and props बाद में in further slides. So in class component we can use state and props. Okay. So okay, so in function components we can pass props. Yeah, we can pass props in function, but not the state. Okay. So what happens in state? Here is a link, and I'll show. I'll have it. So can you guys confirm if you guys are able to see this code sandbox link? I'm in the window. I hope it's visible. I'll just check. Okay, yeah, it is. I think it's loading. Okay. So just look here. So I have import React from React. Whenever we are like starting an application in React, we use npx create React app. This is the syntax for creating. It creates a folder and it contains node modules and the basic template of React. Okay. So I have import React from React. Then I don't think styles is needed, but let's keep it. So then we have a class car. So this is a class stateful component of React. So we have a class car which extends React.component. If I write React comma component and then I say extends component, so this is the same as React.component. Okay, this was what I was talking about in the slide. Okay, what is happening here? Okay, so then we have a constructor and we have this state. So what state is doing, it's setting some of the, you can say, constants or some parameters. So we have a brand which is Ford, model Mustang, and color red, year 1960. So we have these variables, and then I say that you display these. So how do we access them? So this dot state dot brand. Why we are using this keyword? Because it directs us to the particular object in which we are using, or particular function in which we are using it. Okay. So this dot state dot brand will give us Ford, and this dot state dot color will give us red, and model will give us Mustang. Okay, there is no gap in between. So we'll just say and in BSP. Okay, so yeah, okay. So I don't have it over here also. I'm sorry. Just so state dot color is red, then model comes Mustang, and year is 1964. Okay, so what I have done is key button type button on click pay. This dot change color. So change color is a function which I am calling here. And what will it do? So whenever we have to change the state, we use set state. So it takes an input of key value pair. These are key values, right? We have a key, we have a value for it. So in this dot set state, we have color blue. So what I'm doing is key when you click on the button, the color, the word even red changes to blue. Okay, so let's test it. So if I click on change color, this red should turn into blue. The written, like the text blue. So yeah, it changed. This is how states are working, and I hope you guys are understanding these. I'll just share the links afterward, or I'll just share the slide so you guys can see to it. Okay. Then okay, let's move ahead. Then after state, I am having props. An example for this. So what are props? Uh, Props are keys which you can properties or values which you can pass to another components if they are needing it, or like parent to child relationship. Okay, so props are used then. Okay, so what I have done over here is just check this. Import React from React and styles CSS. Then props example is another component. So props example, what is it is doing? Import React from React. We have made a class component. So export default class props example. We are calling the constructor over here in the super keyword. So I am like demanding props so that I can use in this. So my name is span this dot props dot name. So how is it getting these props over here? So in app.js, what I have done is I have said hello people in h1 tag, and then I have declared a state having name that is Anushka. So key is the name and value is Anushka. Okay. So I have imported this component. When we import a component, it's a self-closing tag only. Okay. Then here, like import props example from props example dot slash means inside the same folder. If I say dot dot slash, then it goes one more folder behind. So dot slash is in the same folder only. Then props example name this dot state dot name. Okay. So I have what I have done is I have passed a prop name, or you can say like say prop name. You can keep any keyword over here. Then I say keep this dot state dot name, whatever the state of name is right now, you pass it to this component. So props dot example is not reading the component right now because I have changed this and I have kept it prop name. Okay, prop name. Let's see, prop name or props name? Yeah, prop name. So it's displaying Anushka. So this name is the same as props dot example. So whenever you are using class component, always remember that you have to access the state or props using the this keyword, else it will show an error. You can see it will show props not defined. This dot props dot prop name. I hope this is clear. And okay, let's move forward. Then we have is React router DOM. So I am like just explaining all the examples right now because we don't have that much time, and I have to like give an introduction to everything, like thoda thoda sabka. Okay, so this is a good, the reactrouter.com is really good for learning the about React router. So what happens is, see, when we use npm install means we are installing a package or a library for our React app. Okay. So npm install React router DOM installs the library of the React router DOM for us. Okay. So then we have this. So we have a browser router. So we are naming browser router as router. Okay. Then we have switch route link. So why is React router DOM actually needed? So React router DOMs help us with navigation between pages or between, you can say, components. So React router DOM is used for routing. Okay. So you guys can go through these examples. We have three components: function, home. Oh, sorry. We have three components, and these three are functional components. Okay. So since we don't need any state or props over here, so it's, if you see, have we should divide like a whole website, or you can say an application, into two types. That is, if you are like working in React, first is you can use presentational components, and second you can use functional components. So presentational components are which contain your UI, most of it, and functional components are which contain your working. Okay, so like these are things which you can learn afterwards. First, like you can just experiment with React. So we have three functional components. One is home, about, and users. So what we have done is we have taken the router, which you can write as browser router as well, but they just renamed it by using as router. Okay. So what they did is they took a div, then they have three links, or three, you can say, list. So what they did is they said ki if your local host or your server is running on slash, that is the home page, so you show the home component, which will display home. If it's slash about, then it should show about. Okay. Then we have slash users, and when it goes to slash users, that is, if you're using your local host, that is localhost. The default localhost is slash 3000, localhost 3000. Okay, so localhost 3000 slash users will display user component, slash about will display about component. Then we have switch. So what switch does is it shows कि if you are at slash about, display the about component, slash user display the users component, and slash home display the home component. Okay, so these are the links which will be created, and these are the components which will be loaded. So the links are over there in the PPT, and you guys can like learn afterwards. I will just share the PPT link with Yash and Healy. Okay. So then is we have Redux, action stores, and reducers. So we were just discussing about state management, right? Like how states are managed, how props are passed, and everything. So, but why they came up with Redux, or why did they come up with, hooks, you can say? So, what was actually happening when you are using Redux, or, oh, sorry, when you are using simple state management of React? So, what happens is whenever you are passing state, or whenever you are passing props from child parent to child or child to parent, what happens is, if suppose we have one parent, and then we have a child 1 under it, then we have child 1.1 under the child 1, then we have child 2, 3, 4. So there are many children to that one parent component, and if that child 5 needs some change from the parent component, but in between all the components like 1, 2, 3, 4 don't need it. Like all those childs don't need it. Then why do we actually, so that is like waste, right? They don't need it, but they still have to go through all of that process, and then again the whole thing has to re-render, though they are not even using that. So in order to avoid that complexity, Redux was made. So what happens in Redux is, like suppose there is me, Haley, and Yash. Okay, so I am the parent, and then comes Haley, and then comes Yash. Okay, then I have to take something from Yash, and Haley is the path through which we have to go through. Right. First, he will pass it to Haley, then she'll pass it to me. So why not create a store? Like we create a store and we keep all our props and states in it, and then whenever whosoever needs it, like even the parent or the child, or like if uh, if I am, suppose we have a shop, right? So I don't have to send Yash key, like go to the shop and then bring me something, then he passes it to Haley, and so that is a store. So I'll get it by myself. If Haley needs it, she'll get it by herself. If Yash is needing it, so he'll get it by himself. So this is the way, like this is why Redux was actually made. Okay, so Redux has three three main parts, of you can say three main things in it. So I'll just explain. So store is what I explained, in which we store all of our data and all of our props, or like you can say everything we actually need. So it contains the state of the components which need to be passed to the other components. So it is like one source of truth in React's language. It's single source of truth. So actions are a part of, you can say, suppose we have a number, constant number, and we want to increase the count or we want to decrease the count. So action is increment and decrement. Increment and decrement are the actions. So num will be there in the store, increment and decrement will be there in the actions. And what reducers will be doing? The actual functionality. So the actual functionality of count plus one or count minus one. So that will be kept in the reducer. Okay. So I won't go in that much depth. You guys can like go research for it, on you can ask me later. So for this also, React is not inside, matlab Redux is not inside React. We have to use a library and React Redux. So we install npm install React Redux, and Redux is really good if you have a huge application to manage. So what you do is you create one store, then you have actions for every component, you have reducers for every component, and means the actions and reducers are kept apart from the components, and they are reusable also. Okay, so React Redux is a good thing. First, you guys should like play with React's actual state management, which is set state and everything. Then you should come to store. Then you should come to Redux, which is store actions and reducers. So there will be map dispatch to props, or dispatch functions map state to props. So I don't have that much time to explain everything. So let's go to hooks. So Redux was introduced for stateful components. Okay. So we cannot just declare our states in functional components. So what React actually did? So it introduced hooks. Why hooks? Because in hooks you can say, like in hooks we are able to use states in functional components as well. Without hooks, you cannot use state and function components, but with hooks, you can. So, whatever we even cannot go through the React life cycle also. So this is an important thing. I missed it and I'm so sorry. So we have a React life cycle, a whole life cycle of React. So I think I might find it. It's component did mount. See, Geeks for Geeks has the best image for it. Life cycle. So we have first how React is actually working. See this. I hope this is visible. I'll just zoom in. So we have okay, not going well. Okay. So first is initialization. What happens in initialization? We declare props and initial states which are to be used in the constructor or which are to be used by our own components, right? So first we initialize the state and props and then we have mounting. So in mounting, what happens is this is the whole React lifecycle, and this cannot be used in functional components. This can only be used in state components. Okay. So I'll give you the solution like how functional components are working. So it's hooks for that. But first we'll go through this. So what happens in mounting? First it will say component will mount like mount on what? Mount on the DOM. Okay. So component will mount like component will mount on the DOM, then it will render the page or you can say display the page and then component did mount is called. That component has mounted to the DOM, okay, over the DOM. So then is updation. So after this, after this whole process is first completed, then only the props and states or the whenever they change it's updated. So we can change the props and state in component did mount as well, or component will receive props and component did mount. So component will receive props and set state are used inside component did mount when we change the props or when we change the state. So should component update and component will update. If the component should update, that is true, then only the component will update. And this render means it will re-render the whole page and then it will go into component did update. Like we can use functions, we can use loops, we can use conditionals inside these this whole life cycle or the functions inside it. And component will unmount us when you like exit the page or change the component, change the location. Then component will unmount is called. Okay, so I hope this is so. I'll just add this. I'll just give you guys the link afterwards. Okay. So then we have hooks. We were discussing hooks. So I think I have the yeah. So hooks has like 6, 7 functionalities in it, and I'll just explain few of them. So I can just also I yeah. So you guys should go through just the basics. We do not have to go into everything for the really first time. Okay. So this is not mine. This is from some course I was learning. So yeah, I'll just explain how this all goes. So first we'll talk like why hooks and how it works. So hooks is used when we have to see this is a functional component, right? But we'll actually be experimenting with states and everything, all the life cycle methods too. So for state setting, we cannot do here set state or this dot state. So in state, we have this. Yeah. So this is how hooks is working in a this is functional component. See the ES6 syntax. And whenever you are not exporting here, you have to export the component over here. Otherwise, you won't be able to import it anywhere in your application. So import React and use state from React. Use state comes from hooks. Okay. For this, you don't have to, for Redux, like you had to install library, right? But for hooks, you don't have to do anything. For Redux, you have to say like npm install React Redux. For hooks, nothing is do that. So what is use state doing here? useState allows us to make our components stateful. Okay, so it like hooks gives us the ability it to write the states using by just using functions. So here we have this is a so we need two things. One is the state and one is the function which is to be operated. So this is green if we had to write in suppose we have to write in state, right? So this won't work here, but I'm just showing this. So what I'll do is I'll say is green. I'll say line green. Okay. We won't have to be using this function, but in hooks we need it. So lime green is the current uh, current state, you can say. Okay. So I'll just remove it from here. So when I say const is green, it's a state, and set is green is the function which will be used to change the state. Then it's set equal to useState function, and then I say true. So true means that is green. Okay, fine. Okay, wait, let's open it somewhere in the new tab, incognito window. I hope my screen is visible right now. हाँ, it's visible. I don't want.
Yes, it's visible.
हाँ, ठीक है. I thought hang or something. Let's wait for it to load. It's just taking time. Okay. Okay, हाँ ठीक है. Cool. So what is happening is I say use state true means the state is green is by default true. So this is called ternary operators when we use this. Okay. So in return, whenever we write a function component, we use return. We return something out of a function, right? So we have an h1 tag in which it is written use state example. Then what I'm doing is I'll say on click pay, you call a function set is green, and what will it do? It will set the state of is green. So how is it this working, right? If I say like you if I okay, I won't be changing it because it's written down. So I say if it's green, then turn it into crimson. I mean, if it's lime green, turn it into crimson. If it's crimson, turn it into lime. So this exclamatory is used for that, like the opposite of whatever the state is. Right. So what I'll do in style is I'll put a condition that if color is green, question mark means true. If is green is true, then show it in lime green, and if it's not, then show it in crimson. Okay, so I'll just click on the use state example, it will turn crimson, then I'll click on it again, it will turn green. So this is working fine. Okay, I'll double click that. Okay, so I hope this is clear. And then we have next we have is use effect. Okay, so what we are doing in use effect is like you can say it's showing us how to recreate the life cycle methods. Life cycle methods, what we talked about were component did mount, component did update, component did unmount from React. So whatever are these, we can use in use effect. Okay. So what we have done, we have taken a state, time, we have a function to change that state, set time. And what we are doing is new date is a function which shows us the present, you can say date. Okay, date or time. So I have set the timer over here. So we say we declare a use effect function, then we pass it a constant called timer. So it's using the set timeout. Set timeout, what it does, it changes the time after 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. Okay, so set timeout is changing the time after every 1 second. If I say set interval, what will it do is it will take time to set it, and then it will wait, then it will again set. So set timeout, this difference should be cleared. So set timeout will set the time after 1 second, it will change. And why are we returning clear timeout timer? Why are we returning, or why are we clearing out the timer? Because when we use effect, when we use effect, so what happens is you mount something on the DOM. So every time you should remember that you have to remove it at the same time. So see this is working. So we have changed it, and then we call use effect runs after rendering the whole thing first. So first everything will run avoiding use effect. Then when component is once rendered, it will use effect. It will implement the use effect function, and then it will change the time after every 1 second. Okay, you guys can experiment with these examples. Also, I like won't be trying it, but whenever we say we put a comma over here and then we put square brackets, what happens is in square brackets you can declare a parameter on which or parameter, or you can say a condition on which or on the basis of which this might change. If I say comma timer, so I'll be giving it, see, since it stopped, right? Okay, now it will hang. I don't know why. Okay. So just reload the, I don't know if it's working or not. Okay. So what will happen is it will change, or it will run use effect on the basis of change in that parameter. Then we have use context. So there are many examples, like you have use context. See, it broke down. I knew it. Let me just open it again. What? Okay, we have questions. Which is the best state management techniques, and what use case of hooks? If we have class components life cycle, then why we use hooks? Why? So hooks are used when we have to like create functional components. And why actually functional components? Again, if we use state components, see, stateful components are difficult, or you can say it's the testing is a little difficult. But in functional components, this is really fast. So functional components needed something to set the states. We have functional and presentation components both. So in functional components, we put the working of a component or something. So functional component needed hooks. Before hooks, we were not able to even use state or change something over in functional components, right? So what is the best state management technique? This depends, right? So if we are like using a small application, we do not have something huge, and so we can like go for the basic state management, that is the set state thing and the props thing which I told. So if then we have a huge application, I think from my side, I don't know about others. So I'll prefer Redux if it's a huge application, because there are many parameters that need to be changed, or there are many things that like need to be accessed by child components, and there are like many components like sometimes a website can go up to like 150 200 components, and all those components cannot just interact with each other or the parent components for passing props and everything. For that you use Redux. And if you think your application is having more like more functional components, then you can use go for hooks. So I have not experimented with hooks that much, but I can like I just Okay, what how I just prefer, you can say Redux. So how to decide between different state management? Okay, what is the best? Okay, that I have answered, right? So I'll just wind up very fast. Okay, I am still in my office and I have to leave also. Okay, I was putting. So React or Vue.js. See, Anmol, I have no idea about Vue.js and I cannot comment on it. And I have worked only in React right now, and I can only tell you about that. I don't have any idea about Vue. So where were we? I was opening the another tab. I am so sorry. I don't know about Vue right now. I haven't worked on it once. Even once. So then is use context till it loads. So what happens in used context? Use context. So use context is used for resolving the problem of data tunneling or prop drilling. You can say I didn't was not able to remember these terms. So Redux was made to solve these problems. What happens is like when you have one parent and further we have like 5 to 10 children or many other children child components. So what happens is every whenever the last component while last child component needs something, parent component sends something through every child component, then it reaches the last one. So this is called data tunneling or prop drilling, which is very very bad because sometimes suppose there are many components and a user's component is to be passed to some, you can say, bank or finance component, but there are many other components like school library or something and they don't need it, right? So it has to go through them. But with use context or Redux solves this problem. So use context is like you can say equivalent to Redux. So use context, I'll just show you an example. Use context. So I'll just stop at use context because I'm getting late. So there are many. I'll share the link, and you can like guys can like go through it. So see this. See this example. So we have first level, second level, third level, fourth level, and Jameson's the first one. Okay. So I don't know they wrote it, and but it's crazy. So then we make a user context using create context. So see this import. We import create context and we import use context, we import use state. So when we are using create context, we just create an object, right? So this is an identity function. What does an identity function do? It takes one parameter and returns that same parameter, though it has nothing to do here, but I don't know why they are using it. So because it's just taking the object and returning that same object, nothing about it. So then we have first name Bob, then last name Robinson. I don't know. Suffix is one, email is this. Okay. Then we have level 5. I'll just go one by one. So what we are doing is I create a functional component. Then I use state and set the see we had first Boberson and then we set it the state and then it's Jameson's first and this. So this is the wrapper or this is user context dot provider. It should be used to wrap everything which is using user use context. Okay, so like level 2 is called here. So this is the first level, you can say ch1 first level. So this is this component, first level component, which is calling level 2. So level 2 is displaying second level this, and it's calling the third component. You can say these components are nested, right? One component inside the other. So these are 5 nested components. So when I have to pass something from first level to fifth level, so I don't want to go through like every level at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll use context. So what happens is level 3 calls level 4, level calls level 5. So in level 5, what I say ki You use the context of user context, which is this, and which was updated by the create context component, and then you take you user and set user. So this is the way how they represent it. So first name, last name, suffix, and on click, this will increase. This is an increment here. Second one, third one. So this will increase, right? So this is how they are passing the, you can say, the parameters or the values from parent to the fifth child without the interference of any other. So there are like many. I can just give you, okay, I'll just end it over here because the time is almost done. So I'll just share the link of this thing and also the explanation of each of it. So you guys can learn from there and you can reach me out maybe on LinkedIn and I'll just clear your doubts if you have any. Okay. So yeah, I'll just stop sharing. Okay. So I'll just go through the questions right now. Okay. I have no experience of JavaScript. Can I learn React? I am so sorry, but I think you need to learn JavaScript because basic JavaScript is really, really important. Like core JavaScript concepts like call, bind, apply, or you can say hoisting and everything. Those are needed for like to end. Okay, so yeah, you need JavaScript and for learning React. So Muskana, you are a fresher in Java. What can I do? So first things first, Java and JavaScript are really really different. So what happens is कि they are not even far 1% related to each other. So for starting React, you have to use JavaScript. You have to learn JavaScript, and then only you can go further with React. Okay. React to client-side rendering in Next.js, which framework of React to server-side rendering? So question is, when we use Next.js server-side rendering, see that depends on how your application is made. Like, what do you want? What you want servers to maintain everything, or you want clients to do the things. Some security reasons are over there when we use server-side rendering or client-side rendering. So yeah, that depends on what you on your application actually. So resources for learning React for free. Okay, so we have this. I'll just share my screen. So React's own documentation is a little more complex, but it helps you through. So I'll just show you. So when I hope you guys have your GitHub accounts, and whenever we search here, so awesome React. Okay, so mm, so you'll get here this EMAC awesome React. So this contains like every topic, every topic. What you can do is you can refer to this one. You can learn everything from there, and or you can like uh, see the topics, learn from Medium, or there are many tutorials on many like articles. So yeah, you can go for it, but you can like refer here for the topic so you don't miss any. Or else React's own documentation is also good. But yeah, so okay. Okay, so I think I have cleared all the doubts and everything. I'll just stop sharing. So see, I am in my office right now and I have to leave. So it's quite late. So thank you so much, Haley and Yash, for inviting me. And it was really great. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you.
staying in.
Thank you so much, Anushka, for explaining React and State Management so nicely. And it was great listening you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you so much, Anmol. And I'll be taking the leave. And thank you so much. And stay safe, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Yes, okay, guys. So I have to give a few information. So as you all know, today is the last day of our summit. So I'll be sharing a feedback form link with you all. I would like you all to fill that feedback form. So it is necessary that you fill the feedback form to generate your attendee certificate, and you'll receive that in a few days. And to all the quiz winners, including the one who will win today, you all will receive your summit tickets, which was said will be free in a few days. Okay, so I think we should move for our GirlScript India Summit 2020 information. As you all know, it is from 18th to 20th September. 18th September is hackathon, and 19th and 20th September there are lines of sessions which will help you all to understand different technologies, and even for your placements. There is 21 under 21 awards where you can apply. So please check the GirlScript website of Summit. I'll share the link in the description, and to gain 10% discount also I'll share a referral code. For the quiz we'll begin shortly. One more thing I want to tell you was that there'll be soon new hiring and placements coming for the region. So keep checking our Surat and Anand chapters social media pages for more info. I have shared the summit link. So I'm just sharing the quiz link. You all can join in. And I have even shared the feedback form link so you all can fill the feedback form.
Hello everyone, I hope yes, 6 participants has joined the quiz. So if you are unable to join the quiz from the link, or if you have problem copy pasting the link, then you can go to this website joinmyquiz.com and enter the 6-digit code from there also.
Just wait for a minute and then we'll start.
Yes, sure.
I think we should start now.
Yes, sure. Okay. So today is the last day of the GirlScript Gujarat Summit, and this is the last quiz. So let's start. The first question is, who is the COO of Ye? The COO stands for Chief Operating Officer. Jayesh, Mohit, and Kriti answered correctly, and that is Mohit Varu. So he is the COO of EA. Next question on your screen. Who is the technical lead of GirlScript Foundation? So there are various positions in GirlScript Foundation, but who holds the position of technical lead? Jayesh, Lai, and Anmol answered correctly. Jayesh topped the list, and the answer is Abhishek Kumar. Next question on the screens. Who is the summit lead for 2020? So, who is leading the summit of GirlScript India 2020, which is virtual? Seems like nobody has answered correctly. Okay, and the correct answer is Shivram Shastri, J. Shivram Shastri. He is the summit lead for 2020. So there are two people, but Shivram Shastri is one of them. Next question on the screen, the fourth question. The latest initiative in form of a company to bring revolution in online learning from GirlScript is. So GirlScript recently found a company to bring revolution in the online learning edtech platform. So which is that company? So Anmol, Mohit, and Aniket answered correctly, and the answer is Yay. So Yay is the new company which is under GirlScript Technologies Private Limited. And the last question of the quiz. Anuba, the founder, is dash under 30. So Anuba is awarded with an award, under 13 award. So which company or which magazine awarded the founder of GirlScript? Jay stops the list, followed by Mohit, and the answer is Forbes. Anuba is Forbes under 30. And yeah, here comes the end of the quiz. So I hope you all enjoyed the quiz and the session. Over to you. And the winner will congratulations all the over to you.
Yes. Okay. So congratulations. Today's winner is Anmol. Uh, Please contact us or send in your email to us at girlscriptgujarat@gmail.com. I'll add Yash here.
Okay. Hi, Heli. So thank you guys. So thank you guys for attending our session from last 3 days. It is in our hectic schedule, like we have been running boot camps and sessions. So thank you very much. It was only possible because of your support. We have been getting some comments, everything from last 3 days. So I'll just share my screen. Okay. So like GirlScript Gujarat is basically made of two chapters right now. So it has GirlScript Surat as well as GirlScript Anand. You can follow both of these chapters. We try to upload a lot of content over here each and every day, all our speaker sessions, all our events, some new data about like some new knowledge or like different technologies we try to upload over there. We try to make more and more reach using our social media handles. So you can follow us through that. Also, like if you want to comment or if you want to send us a feedback, the feedback form, I think Kelly has sent it on the comment section. You can also send us on the Gmail. You can contact us. The mail ID is girlscriptgujarat as Heli said. You can also, if you feel like you can't contact us, you can also contact our individual chapters from the Girlscript Anand as well as Girlscript Surat. Both of the chapters are pretty welcoming and they are pretty cooperative with everything. So they'll surely cooperate with you. So thank you guys. Have a safe day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, guys, please fill the feedback form so that your certificates are generated soon. And as Yash said, you all can contact us anytime at any of our social media chapters and girlscriptgujarat@gmail.com. Thank you so much for attending the session. Okay, bye. Have a great evening.